Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Nedarim, page 37, which discusses, unlike the current public school educational system, where they give summer vacations and weekends off, when it came to teaching Torah to children, this was something that took place 7 days a week. In fact, it mentions that even on Shabbat, on Saturday, teachers would also teach their students. However, there had to be a little bit of a variation. It had to be a little bit different. During all the other days of the week, they were able to teach new subjects. However, when it came to Shabbos, on that day, they were not allowed to teach something new, but only for certain things that they learned, let's say throughout the week, to be reviewed, but not that it should be taught for the very first time. And the Talmud over here gives two reasons for it. First of all, the Talmud says, because when a person on Shabbos is engaged in very large festive meals, and they're eating and drinking so much, because of that, and they're not used to eating this way during the week, it makes the person feel very heavy, very tired, and it's harder to be able to focus and expect children, therefore, also to be able to understand and absorb a brand new lesson. Something that they've learned before that is not as difficult, as they already know it a little bit, and therefore that is allowed. But to force them to learn something new after having had a huge meal and this very different routine as far as eating is concerned, that much we don't do. But then the Talmud gives actually a first answer, that was the second one, which is extremely fascinating. It says the reason is because of the fathers. What does that mean? When it came to Shabbos, this was a special day in which parents were able to bond and spend time playing with their children. Yes, the Talmud here says that the child would spend time engaged in play with their parents and their father. Their father, who may be working 6 days a week, this is the one opportunity for them to be able to be with their child. Now, the father also knows that it's important for their child to learn. And therefore the problem is that if we would say that the teacher is able to teach a brand new subject, the father doesn't want the child to fall far behind. And he realizes that if he's not going to be at that lesson, then he's going to miss out. And it's going to be very hard for him to catch up. But we don't want that to happen. Because if the father, having this feeling and the importance of education, is not going to end up playing with his child. He will end up not spending time with his child during this special time, this one day where he has a little bit more free time, the father has. And therefore, we tell the teacher, we do not want you to teach something new. Rather, we want it to be a lighter day in which there should just be review. And this way, the father can say, okay, he knows it already, so let me spend time playing with him during this time. And he could always make up for this time that he lost because he already kind of knows it, and it won't be as difficult for him to be able to review this. And that is the reason why we don't want this child to learn something new, which is such a fascinating thing. We know that there's nothing greater than Torah. In fact, we say Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, that when it comes to learning Torah, that is the highest of all things. But yet, on the other hand, we find that we don't want the child to learn at the expense of spending valuable quality time with their parents. And even though Torah is so important, so too is that quality time for that child to be with their mother, that quality time, especially if the father's not often around, for him or this child to be together with the father as well. So much so that we say we're going to forsake the valuable lessons of learning Torah so that he'll be able to spend time with his children. That we find, therefore, the tremendous emphasis and stress of making sure that we should always find the time to be with our children.